last night, and you're fine.
I don't know if I sent them. What is that?
Audio Jungle.
I don't know if I sent them.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to our Point of View talk show. Well, today we're going to be talking about healthy eating and eating for your health. So before we start, let's go ahead and introduce everyone so we can get going to our conversation on healthy eating. First, we have with us our host, my host, sidekick, retired. He always reminds us that he's retired now. So retired Captain Eric Jackson. Hey, Eric, how are you?
Hey, what's happening? It's so good to be back after having been in California for the last 2 months. So it's great to be here.
Good job. And welcome back. Glad you had a safe flight back. We also have with us retired Cinta Mickle. She's retired from the U.S. Army. Hey, Cinta, welcome back. And we have with us, now, Tamala, are you retired or are you still working?
I'm retired. I'm retired from the military.
From the military.
And still working.
And still working. Miss Tamala Johnson, retired from the Army.
Yes.
How are you, Tamala?
Wonderful. How are y'all?
Good, good. And our special guest for today is Dr. Michelle Clay. Hi, Dr. Michelle. How are you?
Greetings and good evening. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Now, our other host, Connie, she should be on a little later. She'll be joining us a little bit later. But Dr. Michelle, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I am Dr. Michelle Clay. People just call me Dr. Michelle, and I am a physician, graduated from Ohio University College of Osteopathic Medicine. And things took a turn. I also went back to school to get my certification as a holistic health counselor and clinical nutritionist. I really am passionate about helping people release stress simply and naturally, and I am the chief creator of Freality, which is a premium loose leaf herbal tea line.
Yay, good job, good job. Well, today we are going to be talking about healthy eating and eating for your health. So Dr. Michelle, tell us, what is the difference between healthy eating and eating for your health?
So healthy eating to me is really about incorporating and implementing a lifestyle of health. You know, they say health is wealth, and that we should eat to live rather than live to eat. So when it's a lifestyle, it's part of your everyday thing. It's not a diet. It's not a temporary thing. That is healthy eating. Now, to me, eating for your health, for instance, if you have various symptoms, or let's say you were recently diagnosed with high blood pressure, well, you might change up some things in order to address that particular health challenge. So
Like
that's
getting
the
off the
difference to
salt
me.
or the pork?
Salt, pork. One thing that people often forget about with high blood pressure, salt is important, but potassium is equally as important. Increasing your potassium intake. The inside of our cells, there's actually a channel, and it's called the sodium potassium channel, and it's a pump that will move sodium in and out of the cell. But since it's tied to potassium, when you increase your potassium intake with your foods, then it can actually help lower the sodium at the same time. So it's not enough just to stop using the salt shaker, stop eating chips, which is my drug of choice. That's my drug of choice when I'm stressed eating. Let me just own it. I'll raise my hand if nobody else can. But raise your hand too. So
Yeah.
there's other things that we can do to address something like that.
Okay, okay. So why is it that people are afraid of the word diet? Why does that scare them?
You know, the word diet has gotten a bad rap. When you look it up in the dictionary, there are different definitions. One is something restrictive, to meet a certain goal, which most of the time people think that way. But also when you are eating as a lifestyle, that's considered a diet too. Whatever you consume, that's your diet. But mindset is everything. That's one of my favorite hashtag mindset is everything. And it's all about how you view something, your perspective of something. So we'll use a different word besides diet, really talking about the same thing. Whenever you have to tell people that they can't do something, there's resistance there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why the word diet has gotten a bad rap. People say, I'm not getting on a diet. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, because people can't stay on diet a long time. You know, they're on a diet, it's like it'll last for a couple of days, and then they want to go back to what they were doing and all. So yeah, so to me, diet is like it's a bad word. It's a bad word because
It is. It can be a trigger word for some people.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what does healthy eating mean? I mean, what types of food are you supposed to eat to be considered eating healthy?
So here's the thing that I always tell people is that you have to listen to your body. All right. Because what energizes one person may not necessarily energize me. So I'm a vegetarian. And for some people, beef, especially if it's a cleaner cut of beef, it came from a grass-fed cow, that's going to do well with them. That does not do well for me. I am at my highest and most vibrant when I am really, really mindful of my greens. Now, my grandmother taught me when I was growing up, she said, Michelle, you got to eat your green vegetables every day and you got to get your roughage so you can remain regular. Okay, now, so that's what she used to tell me when I was little, and that stuck. And I found that that really works for me. But there are some things that everybody can incorporate. You do need to make sure that you get adequate amounts of fiber. The average person is constipated. So the definition of constipation, you should be eliminating every time after you eat. I have had clients, and back when I was practicing in the hospital, they telling me they going every 5 days. I'm like,
oh my gosh.
I would blow up. I would explode. Okay. But you say, oh my goodness, there's a lot of people who are like that. So that lets me know they're not getting adequate fiber in their diet. They're not getting adequate water. So water is a staple. That's number one. Regardless of, you know, your body type or have you ever heard of something, eat right for your blood type?
Yes. I have a book on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a friend that specializes in that, so you might want to, you know, connect with her in the future. But I'm A positive, and so A people, you're A too. So
Yes.
A people do really well with a more vegetarian type lifestyle. So without me even realizing it, just listening to my body, that's what I was. Now I can't remember the other ones. I think, for instance, O, since they're universal, they do well with everything, being both carnivore and herbivore. But first things first, water. Most people do not drink enough water. At minimum, you need to consume at least half your weight in ounces. So if you weigh 150 pounds, I saw your face. That's all right. You know, we gonna start 1 cup at a time. Climb up. It's all right. If you weigh 150 pounds, then you need to drink at minimum 75 ounces of water per day. Now, if you exercise, you need to go up from there because you're sweat, so you are losing water.
Wow.
She said, wow. Adequate fiber. Your plate should look like a rainbow, regardless of your blood type. I see too many plates that are beige. I can't do anything with that. Okay, there's no color, there's no light. So your plate should be colorful. So and fruits. Now, for people who are diabetic, they have to watch some fruits that they consume if it has too much sugar in it.
Mhm.
However, that's a different form of sugar than if you're eating a Snickers. A Snickers is a simple sugar, but your fruits are going to be more of a complex sugar. So the body, it's easier for the body to break down. And speaking of which, for instance, if you're consuming a fruit with the skin like an apple, where you have natural fiber, so that's going to help process that complex sugar quicker. So those, I would say that for the main things, things that we all know you need to stay away from, regardless of your blood type or regardless of what's going on. Those chips that, like, I raised my hands, my drug of choice, but everything in moderation. This is what I do. I get the little 99-cent bag. So therefore, if you know, most of the time you don't take your chips and put them in a bowl.
Mhm.
You're just eating them right out the bag. And it's like, you're not even thinking about it. You're not even tasting it. It's habit, especially if I'm stress eating. But if I get a 99-cent bag, then once it's done, it's done. But your processed foods, all these things, if you read a label and you're reading all these things and you have no idea what it is, well, your body doesn't like it. It's not doing anything to help heal your body or give your body the building blocks that it needs in order to heal itself.
So Dr. Michelle, let me ask you, because
Yes.
I'm a 53-year-old male, obviously, and growing up, I think we were all probably in the age group where we were coming up with the whole Schoolhouse Rock and the more educationally appropriate and nutritionally appropriate type of programming that there was. And I remember there was emphasis on the 4 food groups, right? So how do you see where that is applicable, or perhaps not, and because of the different body types and blood types, how that is shifted, or if in your opinion it really hasn't shifted at all?
It has shifted just a little bit, where it's more fine-tuned. So they don't go by the 4 food groups anymore. When you look at a chart, it's more of a pyramid, right? And so the base, they have a base, and then on up at the very top of the pyramid is the things that you do for your pleasure, your cheap food, your
Right.
your little snacks, your chips, your little chocolates and things like that.
Mhm.
So that is how it has shifted. At the end of the day, how I do my work and express it as a certified holistic health counselor and clinical nutritionist is, I don't really come from that perspective too much, because what I have found, I treat mostly our people. And
Mhm.
I know how we are because I'm the same way. There's a lot of emotion that's tied to food.
Mm.
So I try to meet you where you are. And if you want something sweet, let's gradually change the habit, change your taste, and develop new memories for something new. Once again, if your plate does not look like the rainbow, you are not getting everything that you need. Okay. If it's too beige, even if I'm doing an all green plate, which sometimes, well, kind of often I do, I still want to throw in some tomatoes or bell pepper, or if my plate is all green earlier in the day, I got something red in. I got an apple, I got some raspberries or something like that. You want to eat the rainbow. And I try to keep things simple for people, because whenever you make it too difficult, like in medical school, they always used to say, keep it simple, stupid, especially when you're talking to patients. Don't talk all over their head, because then it's like Charlie Brown's teacher, want. They don't know what you said. They're going to go home and not do anything and be non-compliant and still be sick as when they first came to you. So, I don't go by all of this counting the calories. I know some people do, and that's fine. Counting the calories and the percentages and looking at the pyramid. Baby, just have your plate be the rainbow.
Mhm.
And I don't mean the rainbow like Fruit Loops. I don't mean that rainbow or taste the rainbow Skittles. I'm not talking about that rainbow.
Not the Skittles.
Not the Skittles.
Dr. Mitchell, let me ask you something. Oh.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Jackson,
Tamara.
you finished?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, you said have your plate look like the rainbow. Recently, I thought I was doing the right thing when I was eating, but I was not losing weight. I mean, for 10 months, I didn't lose nothing. And so finally somebody said, you're not eating enough food. So I thought 3 meals a day was just fine, but they said you were not eating enough food. So then I had to incorporate, 5 meals, but I changed the way I was eating. But you're saying, is you talking about just one plate, make it look like the rainbow, or just throughout your day? What do you mean by that?
Really throughout your day, you should be getting everything, but there should be at least one plate that's the rainbow, because if nothing else is appealing to you. My godfather taught me long ago, you eat with your eyes first. And so if you see a plate, now I hope I don't make y'all hungry when I'm going to say this. If you see a plate and it's got fried chicken and mashed potatoes and a roll, that's all beige. And in your mind, maybe if you're thinking about your grandmother's fried chicken and her mashed potatoes with gravy, it conjures up a memory that it tasted good. But when you really look at it, compared to a plate that may have that same fried chicken on it, but if you have high blood pressure, I don't recommend that. But have that same fried chicken on it, that those same mashed potatoes, but then you have some broccoli and some carrots and maybe a slice of red bell pepper and some romaine on there with the side salad. Now you have the rainbow, and that looks completely different than just the fried chicken, roll, and mashed potatoes. You understand what I'm saying? Now, to answer your question about the weight loss, I know people who have lost weight with the, keto diet is real popular. Honey, I would kill over with a stroke if I did the keto diet, because I can't eat all that meat. That's too much for me. That's too much for me. But as a 50 plus and phenomenal woman, one thing that happens when we age, this is for both men and women, because you mentioned, Sir Eric, that you are a 53-year-old man. So we all, 50 plus and phenomenal. Okay, 40 is fabulous, but 50 is phenomenal, right?
Right.
Our testosterone levels start decreasing when we're in our 30s. And this is for men and women. So testosterone, and I learned this from my super friend, Dr. Mia, who's a hormone specialist. The testosterone is tied to our muscle mass and our ability also to lose weight, as well as our sleeping habits and all of that. So as we age, you might need to get a little bit more testosterone. And in the future, you have a hormone specialist on, then they can talk to you all about that. I'm personally a patient and get supplemental testosterone, plant-based, and it has changed my life. It has absolutely changed my life. So with that, I noticed I'm not doing too much. Like, look, I don't do weights, but like, my arm's skinny, but I got a little something right there.
You got a little bump in there. I see.
I got a little bump. I have a little bump. So that's something that can help, as well as your exercise, as well as your water, as well as your stress levels. Because if you are chronically stressed, the stress hormone cortisol, it will have you holding on to weight as well.
Yeah,
okay? Especially in that midsection area. And I noticed here lately, my midsection, I said, is this what 50 does? I just turned 50 in July. I'm like, is this what 50 does? No, ma'am. No, sir. Let me do a remix. I got to wrap some up. Some got to shift. So those are some things that can contribute to that. Now, maybe did you notice when you went from 3 to 5 times a day, eating more meals, but smaller meals, did that help you?
I did. I lost 10 pounds. But now I'm at a plateau.
So and see, this is the thing. I don't like to say losing weight, Because
Yeah.
when you lose something,
I hadn't said that in a long time. It was good.
is that you might find it again. Like if I lose my keys, I need to go find my keys. But so I prefer release.
Oh,
You releasing,
I released some
weight.
fat.
you releasing some waste. You are releasing something that no longer serves you.
I like that. That's nice.
Good answer.
See, I did the
She said,
keto.
good answer.
I did the keto diet and I lost about 15 pounds with that. But then I didn't stay on it because I was eating a lot of eggs, eating a lot of protein and all. And then I just, I for some reason I didn't stay on it. And the weight stayed off for a little bit, but then it came back on. And it's just the midsection. It's the midsection. Everything else is, it's fine. But you know how they have the weight chart where your height and your weight is supposed to be a certain, you're supposed to be a certain weight for your height.
Right.
Why is it that changes all the time? Because see, I'm 5'8", and I'm supposed to be 150 for
Oh.
my height. If I was 150, I would look like a crackhead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but I would look bad. I would be really skinny, and I don't feel comfortable like that. I was 150 almost 30 years ago. Now I'm at 200. So, I mean, I'm fine with it. So why is it that you have your, they keep changing the scale to say, you're supposed to be a certain height with a certain weight. And then the doctor's like, oh, you're overweight. And you're like, how am I overweight?
They don't really go by the height weight thing anymore. It's more about BMI, body mass index.
Mm.
So Miss Jacqueline, you, and that takes into account bones and muscle, right? Not just raw weight and raw height. So you and I are the same height.
Mhm.
But I'm 135, but I don't look like a crackhead, but our body types are different. And body shapes are different. I'm more, narrow, like my people must be from the Maasai tribe. Like I got long arms, long legs, long neck. That must be where my people from. And then there's people who are more pear shaped, round shaped, all these differences. So you can't purely look at height and weight. It's more about BMI.
Okay. Well, joining us now is Miss Connie Abraham. Connie, welcome. Good to see you.
Hello.
You can join
What up,
us.
Scotty?
Thank you for joining
Hey.
us. So we're talking about the body, the height and the weight, how it's connected. And it's not, she said, it's no longer the height and weight, it's your body mass. It's the mass,
Yeah,
as far
BMI,
as what you're
mass.
supposed to, how you're supposed to be built. But why is it that the doctor will say, I mean, we don't feel like we're overweight. Overweight, when we see that, we see somebody who's like really, big, or just have some areas that are really big. So when you're not big, why is it that, the doctor will say, you need to lose weight, you need to lose weight? How little do they want you to be? And how little should you be for, for your health?
The target is really the BMI percentage, okay? Because you and I are both 5'8". Well, I got a half inch on you. I'm 5'8.5", okay? And
0.5 is important.
Yeah, those inches mean a lot, boy. I'm like, I'm 5'8.5".
okay.
Like I'm 53 and a half.
But let's say that you weighed 175 and somehow our BMI was the absolute same on target. That's all that really matters, because the new school indicators are that BMI is better. It gives you more of an indication of heart health, your overall cardiovascular health. And that's what they're really concerned about with the weight. Okay. Now, the thing is, all doctors are not created equal.
Right.
I'm just going to say this. And I'm also going to say, which I tell everyone, if you are not happy with your primary care physician, baby, you're not locked in. Honey, doctor's a dime a dozen. Go find somebody else that really can talk to you in a way that you understand and you feel that hears you.
Right.
Okay. So if they're not really explaining, and the thing is, some of this new stuff that we're talking about, doctors have to go back, and some doctors have gone back and had additional training
Mhm.
or took some and got some additional certifications,
Mhm.
especially now that complementary medicine and alternative medicine is being a little bit more accepted than what it used to be. All doctors don't have that training. They have not taken classes, or some of them have to go on their own time with their own dime to learn that, because they're really passionate about the care, the overall care, health and wellness of their patients. So if you have a doctor that has not had that, they might be telling you some old school stuff, and
Mhm.
which is not meeting your needs anymore. If you, especially if you're a member of the 50 plus and phenomenal club, you know what I'm saying? So
Almost.
find somebody else, find
Right.
somebody else. It's fine.
Okay. Now, I did have a doctor that I had to change because he was selling fruits and vegetables in a jar. I mean, it's like it was they were caps or they were pills or something. Fruits and vegetables. It had nothing to do with his practice. You know, he had a DVD to explain everything to you, and then it was a bottle of fruits and vegetables. He's like, because your body needs a lot of fruits and vegetables. People don't eat fruit and vegetables every day, so here's some pills for you to take. And he's, you know, he was selling them, and I'm like, no, I'm not interested. He said, well, you need to take them because you're fat. I was like, how do you call me fat? You know, I was
Wow.
really offended. And as you know, that was the last time I saw him. I was like, no, I will get
Absolutely.
another doctor. No, I'm not going to have a doctor tell me that I'm fat, because I'm not going to buy his product that really has nothing to do with his practice. It's something totally separate, you know. But I did, as you said, I did get another primary care physician. You
That's
know,
very disrespectful. See,
it
if you
is.
were my patient, I would have said, well, Miss Jacqueline, I have an option here if you're interested, to increase your vitamins and your nutrients, because I'm really concerned. I want your BMI to get a tad bit lower. This is our target. And
Mhm.
so what can we do together to get you there? Now, see, if he would have said that, that would have still been your doctor.
Wait.
Okay.
Like you said, all doctors aren't created equal.
But you have some doctors who are a little overweight too. So it's like you're looking like, well, how can you be telling me that I need to lose weight when your weight is a little bit up there? You
Now,
know?
see, now you're talking, all right. That's what I'm talking about. And maybe I'm prejudiced, all right. I am a doctor, but I still have to have a doctor. If you are looking a hot mess, how you getting ready to tell me something? Because I
Right.
don't want you to regurgitate to me something that you read in books or you heard at the lecture for your CME continuing medical education. It's going to land better with me if I see it in action.
Right.
Okay, through
Right.
you, then I know you know what you're talking about, and you can say, "Well, Miss Clay, because when I'm the patient, no, sometimes I'm still Dr. Michelle because
They
some
know
doctors,
you're a doctor.
right? You sometimes you still need to let them know because sometimes they act a little different. But
Right.
anywho, I'm gonna say, oh, well, that really worked for you. Well, I'm gonna try it. It establishes a sense of trust,
Right.
you know. Um, because we go through things in life, and
Yeah.
especially with the past year and a half that we have experienced, connection, more importantly, genuine connection is very, very important, and if you feel that with anyone and everyone on your healthcare team, then any changes that you make, you're going to feel like I have support. I can do this because I trust them. They believe I can do it, and they have what I need. They're going to help me through the process. I want to do it. I know that I have a team,
Mhm.
which this isn't necessary about healthy eating, but I do want to make this point is that anyone you go to, you need to know that you know that you know as a patient that you are the one who is in charge. Anyone who is a part of your healthcare team is just that. They are a part of your team. So when you go to someone and you're speaking your concerns, or they're like, Miss Jacqueline, Mr. Eric, this is going on, it would be better for you to get to this goal, for your overall health and wellness. Okay. And to avoid some of these chronic illnesses that, may run in your family, and all of us have them. So what is it that you want to do that I can support you with? Let's come up with a plan together. And then you say, well, this is what I like. This is what I commit to right now. And then your member of your healthcare team says, okay, you know what? That's good. I can work with you with that. And let's start there. Because when you go in, especially when you're good and grown, you're an adult and someone's dictating to you, you're like, well, honey, I'm grown. I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Like, period, dot. You know what I'm saying? Instead of asking you, what do you like and what are you willing to do?
Right. Yeah. 'Cause they always want to put you on a medication. They always want to put you on something.
Oh,
My
yes.
one doctor, I probably had her for like 10 years. And she had me on a water pill. I asked her if I could, be on a low a water pill for whenever my hands swell or my feet swell or something. And she was like, fine. She prescribed a water pill for me, a low grade water pill. But when I left her and went to my new doctor, they took me off the water pill. They said, because I was on it so long that it depleted my potassium.
Oh, there goes that
And-
potassium again.
And why is it that she wasn't checking that? Why just going to put a person on a medication and not checking to make sure that it's okay? You don't have any other problems or complications from that medication. So why did I have to leave one doctor for another doctor to tell me that it depleted your potassium? So you have to get off of it.
Exactly. All doctors are not created equally. And especially for people, for us who are African Americans, you really, and that's why a platform like this is so important. You really, really have to educate yourself, because unless you have someone with medical knowledge in your family, you have to be your own advocate sometimes. And you have to fight for what you instinctively know that you need.
Right.
It's a shame you have to do that, but that's just how it is.
Mhm.
So, one thing, since the topic is healthy eating, and you brought up your hands will swell, you have to remember that all prescription medications, the root of it is a plant. So I like to think of things as plant technology. All right. So the difference between taking the herb or getting it in your food with the prescription medication is that they take something that God created and then they process it and then they add synthetic fillers, because you can't put a patent on anything in the earth. You can't do it. Okay.
Right.
But if you have synthetic things added to it, you can put a patent on that. All right. So if you think about or know what the root, the base, the foundation of the prescription medication is, then you can use that same plant technology with the natural things, with your fruits, with your vegetables, with herbs, that type of thing. But before we even get to there, like if you were my client and you said, okay, Dr. Michelle, sometimes my hands and my feet swell. Well, I would ask you, what were you doing?
Yeah.
And what did you eat? How was your day when you noticed that your hands and your feet swell? Because first things first, you have to get to the root. The first thing, if you notice that you were doing something or you ate something repeatedly that ended up with this result, well, then we're going to change that. We're going to get to the root instead of just throwing a pill at you. Now, I'm not saying that prescription medications are bad, because prescription medications can be good. They work faster than the herbs. But if it is possible to gradually get off of that, lower the dose little by little when you're working with your primary care physician, you're supplementing with food, that plant technology, because there's natural foods and natural herbs that are natural diuretics. So for instance, something that's real popular right now is celery juice, right?
Yeah, we were doing that for a while.
Okay. Celery juice is celery is a natural diuretic, so that
We
can
need
be
to go
helpful.
back to it.
But here's the thing, I'm gonna just be honest with you. Plain celery juice, it's not like I'm not feeling that, okay? Because I'm a Kool-Aid kid, so
That right there.
he said that right there. See, Eric, you and I, we from the same generation. You said that Schoolhouse Rock. I was like, woo, take me back. I love me some Schoolhouse Rock on Saturday. But I'm a Kool-Aid kid. So if I'm drinking something, if it's not water, in my mind, it has to be sweet. Now, over the years, I broke my addiction to sugar because I also grew up being the Kool-Aid kid and being at my nanny and papa's house. And papa being from Cartersville, Georgia, honey, he wanted a dessert every day. All right. And I'm not talking about we going up to Kroger or somebody. Was Kroger even Mountain? It don't matter. But I'm not talking about going up to the store and getting something. No, my nanny was making something. Okay, she make a homemade pie, homemade strawberry shortcake, whatever. So I had a really big addiction to sugar, but I intentionally broke that addiction, right? But that sweetness is still there. So if I'm gonna have celery juice, honey, I'm gonna pair it with something so it's gonna be nice.
Put some apple juice in it.
Well, see, when I make juice, just because I'm all about that, plant technology, I'm actually getting the whole fruit and juicing it myself. I have the Rolls Royce of blenders, the Vitamix, honey. It can blend anything and everything. You put a bolt in there, honey, it'll chop that up. All right. So it's true. They stand by their motor and their blades. I made a wonderful juice just yesterday where I put celery in it. I added some greens and I added some lemon and a little bit of honey in my tea. I have a green tea and green tea typically, it tastes like grass. All right. But since it's my tea blend, I smoothed it out with mango. So it's nice. Doesn't that sound nice? And I put some orange peel in it too. So I smoothed it out. So you don't even need sugar. So I put that together because I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna drink just straight celery juice. If I'm doing it to do that, let's say, I'm going to this island, this destination wedding. I'm trying to, be right from a new swimsuit, then I might tough it out for 7 days or whatever. But if I want to incorporate something like that, once again, as a lifestyle, then I need to do it in a way that's pleasant because I'm going to keep that up.
Right. We were doing the celery juice for a while, me, Cinta, and Tammy. I was actually juicing, but it's so messy. It was so messy. I mean, it was hard for me to get the juicer apart, to clean it and everything. And it's an acquired taste. That celery juice. It's an acquired taste. It sure is. You had to mix something with it sometime. But yeah, we were doing it. We stopped. Why did we stop, guys?
Because it's not pleasant.
Well, it said do not go past 7 days. That's what it was saying.
Okay. Yeah.
It stopped at 7 days.
Yeah.
But it is an acquired taste.
Yeah. That's an acquired taste.
It tastes good to me. And I think at one time, maybe it was you, Tanny, mentioned putting a little lemon in there.
No, that was Jackie.
No, I would have said apple. I would have said apple, not lemon.
No, I really did. I would get up in the morning, I would have mine. I would be telling them, but I went to Kroger's where they had it. You go in the fruit section of Kroger's and they had it made for you right there. So all that stuff Jackie was doing,
I was juicing it myself, buying all the celery and juicing it. I'm going in there.
So already the day you didn't have to clean nothing up. You just take it and go to the register and pay for it. But it was fresh. They made it, and they let you know there was a little date on there. They was making it. I guess they was probably making it once a week. I don't know. But it was good. So we should go back. It's time for us to go back.
You brought up a good point. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Okay. That's convenient if they already had the celery juice made. You can just grab it. But the thing about juices is this: in order to get the full benefit of the nutrients that you're getting from that juice, you need to consume it like within 30 minutes That's like top, like within 30 minutes of it actually being prepared. So when they
wow.
have that on the shelf, you really don't know how long it's been up there.
Yeah.
So this is what I think about. And everything, once again, hashtag mindset is everything. Sometimes we're so conditioned to looking for fast and convenient. Eric, you mentioned, growing up, Schoolhouse Rock kid, we grew up differently. We didn't have all this fast food. We're one of those children, you want to go get a hamburger. We got ground beef at home.
That's right.
Okay. You weren't going to McDonald's. Remember that, I don't know if they had down there. We used to have Burger Chef. You weren't going to Burger Chef. You was going to have that ground beef at home. We didn't really have white bread. We had wheat bread, and that grease hole was going to be in the center. And it was going to be big. You didn't even have bun. You're going to use this bread. So in this time, everything is about fast and convenient.
Yeah.
And we're thinking about convenient with time, but we're not thinking about convenience with our health and with our wellness. See, now that I'm 50, I feel like, even though in my mind, I'm thinking I have more years behind me than ahead of me. But who knows? My grandmother lived to 103. I could live to 103 too. So I'm only really at the halfway mark. All right.
Right.
But I don't plan on living those years being bent over, not going where I want to go because I don't have the energy, or I have all these doctor's appointments, or I'm all crooked up. I'm not trying to do that. So in my mind, I have to do something different in order to have something different. And this body is not 25. It just isn't. So therefore, I have to do some different things to still have the vibrancy of a 25-year-old without having the mind of a 25-year-old, because nobody wants to go back to that. So if I have to get up a little bit earlier, like I got up, I had to go to the appointments with my daddy. We had to leave at 9. I was up at 6 because I want to make sure I do those things that I need for me. I come first. And that's, I have to say my prayers. I got to meditate. I got to exercise. I got my exercise in. I juiced for myself, made my salad, made some things for him, got my tea in, got the stuff he needed, and then did all of that so that I would be ready to face this day. Am I tired? Yeah, I'm a little tired. But at the end of the day, I'm committed to me. And this is what you do not want to do, whether it's for family members or even your physician. You like, oh, doc, I got this, I got that. What can you do about it? No one else should be more invested in your health and healing than you. Okay. So what are you going to do different to have different? That's why I asked myself. So once I just made a routine, I'm accustomed to getting up, juicing and cleaning. Now I use the Vitamix, so it's not as many parts. I just have 2 parts, the lid and the container. It makes it easier. But I'm just accustomed. You're going to do this. You're going to clean up, because I don't like to come back to a dirty kitchen. I mean, that's just it. I made it not a habit. I made it part of my lifestyle.
Right.
It-
Go ahead, Eric.
No, I was gonna say, it sounds like, I guess one of my questions too was, in talking about healthy eating, I think it's also important to discuss healthy access. And a lot of what you're talking about, you're gonna need to get some Franklin Covey too, because we're gonna need to form this habit, and forming the habit in enough repetitiveness to make it a part of your lifestyle, right? So talk about how important healthy access is to the healthy eating, or in combination of the healthy eating, because we know the good is it, the plan is already in. We got all this unhealthy stuff around us that's close to us, and seemingly the healthier foods or the healthier pathways are a little bit further away. So now you talk about sacrifice. So kind of touch on that, because I know we're all probably afflicted with that. We tend to go with what's convenient, that we don't have to drive across town or spend a lot of gas and time and energy trying to do, but yet and still, we just do not have those. We don't always have those healthy choices available to us. So maybe we have to take a deeper dive and look a little bit more closely. Just kind of, I want to see if you can expand upon that.
Sure, I would love to. So I literally just moved from New Orleans at the end of June. I rolled out June 29th. Glad I did, thank God.
Wow.
I lived there for 11 years of my life. When I first got there, it was still recovery going on from Katrina. Okay. So to get healthier options, I'm blessed that I have access. I have a car, I have gas, I have some money. I did have to go to certain stores in order to get the quality that I know I need for my body to work at its optimum. One thing that they did start doing was having more farmers markets. And so this is something for people that don't have as much access for transportation or even money, like wherever you're tuning in from, checking your local area where the farmers markets are located. So in New Orleans, what they did, they started having more farmers markets in different areas of the city. So regardless whether you were in the lower 9 or you were uptown, you had a farmers market that you had access to, as well as these farmers markets started taking food stamps. So that was something to eliminate one of the barriers to the economic access. All right. Now, every city isn't doing something like that. So that brings a very valid point. So with that being said, if you have access, economic access, but you may not have the transportation access, nowadays, technology can be friend or foe. When it's a friend, is phenomenal. You can order your stuff. You can order what you need. They have all kinds of Instacart, Hello Fresh. I can't remember the name of the company, but I saw an ad for something that you can get fruits and vegetables cheaper that don't make it to the store, because let's say, the tomato has a bump on it or something.
Right.
It's not perfectly round, but it still has the nutrients in it that your body needs, and it's delivered to you. Then we can always go back to some old school, and maybe, we can't grow enough to feed our entire families, but maybe we can grow some tomatoes, or maybe we can just grow a squash. And in this day and time, I'm thinking about that. That's very important. While I'm still seeing people that I love, neighbors in New Orleans who are struggling. I heard that the grocery stores are open, but they're running on generator. People talking about they shopping in the dark. They shopping with flashlights. Like, that's crazy.
Right.
Now, my grandmother, my nanny, like I mentioned earlier, who I love her so much. She really, really contributed to the woman that I am today. She would live during the Depression, and she told me they were poor, of course. And one thing that helped them make it through was they had what was called a victory garden. And in that victory garden, no, they didn't grow everything they absolutely needed to survive. But in those lean times, people came together, as you may be witnessing on the news with the people in Louisiana. They come together. So she said, like, they may have some collard greens and some garlic, and they would meet up at the church, and somebody else had a potato. She said they bought pigeons. She said from the hobos, that's what they call them, the hobos, for 2 cents, and you get a little meat. But I wouldn't eat these pigeons now, but I'm just saying that's what she told me. And then they would put it all in a stew. Everyone brought whatever they had together. They put it all in a stew, and they called it Hallelujah Stew. So that is how they made it. So if we, once again, shift our mindset instead of being so independent and isolated, and really start building a sense of community. Now, maybe you can't have a sense of community in the neighborhood you lived in. Like the neighborhood I lived in, some of the people I couldn't have a sense of community with. I just couldn't. Let me just be real. But I may have a community person that's down the street around the corner, and whatever we need, we can bring it together. Does that help answer your question?
It
So
does.
it's really multifaceted.
Yeah.
It really is.
And it seems like the younger generation, they're the ones that are going to the farmers markets. They're the ones that are going to like Whole Foods. things
Whole
like that.
check.
Right. Yeah.
And I do want to speak on that, because some people, when they're first starting out and they're thinking about healthy eating, they immediately think, oh, well, I have to go to Whole Foods in order to get something healthy. False. They're
Food is
too
so
high.
expensive.
There's other stores that are a lot cheaper. Look, there's some Kroger's. They have phenomenal produce section. Your Trader Joe's a lot of times is cheaper than even Kroger. And Sprouts. Y'all don't sleep on Sprouts.
Yeah. Sprouts nice.
Sprouts is nice.
All these have good food.
Oh, yes, that's right. Aldi's.
Aldi's.
Aldi's has done a complete rebranding. I used to take my grandmother to Aldi's, and that the Aldi's always used to be in the hood. You know what I'm saying? And they had a whole bunch of mess, you know, the off-brand cereal and off-brand paper towels and things like that. But they have leveled up their game. So I will shop at Aldi's first and then supplement at other stores, because like they don't have fresh greens. I personally don't get my greens in the packet that's already cut up. I go through the process, because I know I'm doing this for not just my health and wellness, to be vibrant. I'm not just trying to live out here, honey. I'm trying to thrive. I'm working on thriving, right? So I do go through the process of getting the bunch of greens, you know, old school, cleaning them, picking them, and do what I got to do, because I want to put the best in my body. And I don't recommend getting those from Whole Foods, because if you go to other stores, they're 99 cents a bunch as opposed to $1.99. You know, certain Walmarts, certain ones, okay, you have to find those, will have some nice greens. Don't go on the weekend. Do not go on the weekend. Do not go before a storm.
Now,
So we do have options.
the organic fruits and vegetables, are those better for you?
So this is one thing, you know, this whole organic thing, like I don't just eat like that, because the true definition of something being organic is something that contains carbon. So therefore we're organic because we contain carbon, we're living, all right? A better definition would be pesticide free or something like that, okay? That would be a more accurate definition. In this country, like if you ever travel to Europe especially, their quality of food in the store is much higher. It's much better. It's much better. What we call and what we allow for organic over here is not going in Europe. To be considered organic with least pesticides is not just what you're using, but who the farm and the land next to you, what are they doing? Because if they're using pesticides and things like that and growth hormones and things, you can't list yours as organic, because with rain, there could be runoff. With the wind, it could blow onto yours. So they have a lot stricter requirements to be listed as pesticide free or organic. At the end of the day, because I've been to the stores, of course, and gone to the organic section, and I saw some stuff that was looking a hot mess. Okay, so I'm not going to buy that. I'm gonna. It's facts. I keep it real. Okay, I tell it how it is. So also, when you're shopping for things, don't be in a rush. be very intentional about what you're getting and kind of feel it out. Like I use my intuition a lot. I use my sense of discernment a lot.
Mhm.
It's not good to shop when you're hungry.
Yeah.
Not good to shop when you're emotional.
Right.
Okay, because you're gonna get a whole bunch of mess. All right. Go when you're feeling good, when you have some time. If you don't have a lot of time, then definitely go in with the listen. Like, I absolutely need this today. So I'm only getting these 3 things that's on my list. Write it out so you don't get distracted. And then when you have time to do your major shopping, go then. And don't just pick things up, feel your apple. Are there any bruises, any soft spot? Don't get that. That's not going to be the highest for you. That's not going to be optimal for you. My nanny taught me how to pick a good watermelon. So I'm up here knocking and things. And this one woman said, I always see people knocking, but I don't know what you hear. And so I tried to teach her. She said, I still don't hear. I said, well, I'm sorry. There's nothing I could tell you. My grandmother taught me how to do this. She taught me what to hear. So I know that it's right and that it's good. So those types of things, so that you are getting the best that you absolutely can to feed this machine. Some people put more time, energy, and effort on their car and their electronic devices than this vehicle right here that's going to actually use those electronic devices and drive that car. Once again, she raised her hand. Oh, I don't mean to step on toes. I don't want to send you to the podiatrist now, but I have to call a thing a thing. I have to call, what's right is right. Okay. I saw you go like this. I knew what that meant. So once again, it takes a mindset shift.
Right.
And being intentional. Like, I just got off the phone before our session today with my line sister, and she said, I'm going to this juice place because I know that I'm hungry and I don't want to stop at fast food. I'm committed not to have fast food anymore this year. So when you know that, and I know if I'm running around and I haven't properly planned, I'm going to be out there. I'm going to get some foolishness. Okay. I'm going to get some cheese and crackers. I'm going to get some chips. I'm going to get some granola bars, and I'm still going to feel hungry. So planning ahead. Okay, Michelle, you're going to be, gone for the day. If nothing else, let me grab this apple, because an apple can kind of hold you for a while. You know what I mean? I always have water with me. Grab some fruits that you don't have to cut up if you're in a rush, so you have something with you. Once again, it's about being committed to you more than anything or anyone else.
That's true.
So check this out. I got a little, I don't know if it's trivia or what, but
Okay.
I just came back from California.
Okay.
And my aunt, she lives in this area of California called Palos Verdes. Auntie paid her dues. She's 40 years with LA Unified School District, so it's kind of affluent up there.
Okay.
So as I was leaving her place, I saw this tree, and it was calling me because there was some fruit on the tree. So, anybody care to guess what this is?
A
I've
jackfruit?
seen that before.
Is that the jackfruit?
Is it a pomelo?
Yeah, a who?
Pomelo, P-U-M-E-L-O, pomelo.
Okay. I've never even heard of that. What's that?
Not what you're holding.
So what I believe this is, and I think probably before the end of the show, I'm gonna attempt to get into it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, get into it. I want to see.
My personal guess is because I grabbed one half the size of this, and it was very tangy. And so I was thinking that this was a cross between a grapefruit and a lemon.
Oh, wow.
Grapefruit and a lemon.
Grapefruit and a lemon?
Wait a minute, I don't like the look Dr. Michelle just gave me. She was like,
No, it wasn't. It was like, oh, okay.
And it was just hanging there on the tree like it's been there for a few months past.
Should have left it there.
Most of the fruit on this tree, I I mean, we're this size. This was the biggest one of the biggest ones. But no, the tree is not, I've seen it for years and years and years. It's not like it's chemically treated. It's just out there in the backyard, and it produces fruit like this. So I'm going to get into this while we're still discussing, while we still have some time, and hopefully.
Well, actually, we only have 2 minutes, Eric.
Ooh.
Also, it
Yeah.
has a peel like an orange or a grapefruit.
I'm going to have to peel this like a grapefruit.
Oh, well, get into it. We want to experience this with you.
Well, that's going to have to be for the after show, because it is
Okay.
now 7:58. So we're going to have to get ready to wrap it up. Want to thank everyone for being on the show. Thank you for joining us, Miss Connie. Sorry you didn't get to say anything, but you were here with us. We appreciate that. We want to thank Dr. Michelle Clay. We enjoyed
Yes.
everything that you said. It was really informative. You know, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about
Mhm.
healthy eating. I really did. And next week, we're going to have the All Guys show.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have saved that for next week, Eric.
Oh, look, I couldn't help it, and I'm already into it.
Look at you.
Ooh.
Looks like a coconut.
Yeah.
There's nothing in there. You got a bad one.
Oh, it's in there.
Nothing
in
but
there.
Yeah,
peel.
I can see it.
The size of an orange.
A sizable orange, exactly. That's what it looks like.
All the rest of it was skin.
Oh my.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. And remember, everything you heard and everything we said was our point of view. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.